Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending the District Delegate Assembly meeting today. We're delighted to have you aboard. Let's begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. We'll begin our agenda. First item is the approval of the September 1st, 2022 Delegate Assembly meeting minutes. May I have approval, please? I have approval and I have a second. Are there any changes, any corrections? Hearing none. All those in favor of approval? All right. The second item on our agenda is Kara Lusik, who is the Recreation Director, and she's going to give us a rundown for the month and also tell us about November.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Kara Lukasik, Recreation Director here at the Country Club. Wanted to tell you about some of the fun things that we have going on in the month of October. We are going to start the second week of the garage sales on Saturday, and then there'll be another one on the 15th, which is the following Saturday. Community shredding will be tomorrow from 9 to noon here in the main parking lot. It'll be in that little parking lot off to the side by the Pop tennis courts is where that we'll have that blocked off tonight. And so you'll be able to come in starting tomorrow at 9 a.m. and drop off your boxes. They're $5 a box. We still have tickets available for the Murder Mystery Masquerade Ball, which it will be Saturday night. So if you are interested in attending, please see Linda. On Monday the 10th, Premier World Travel will be in the multi-purpose room, at 9:30 to go over their travel plans for the upcoming holidays and beyond. Then on Friday, October 14th, Silver Lining Travel will be in the ballroom on the lobby side with their presentation of some of the day trips that they have. They've just added some really interesting things for the holidays. A trip to the Mission Inn, they've got the Rose Parade, some really fun things that they've put together for the upcoming holiday season. Saturday is going to be the Oktoberfest, and I won't steal any of Thomas's thunder. He's going to talk about that. Monday, the 17th, is a blood drive. We are going to have a flu vaccine clinic on October 20th here in the ballroom from 1 to 4. If you're interested in participating, please see the receptionist at the main clubhouse. She'll be able to get you a time slot and let you know when to come into the ballroom for that flu shot, and that's going to be sponsored by the Costco Pharmacy. The flu clinic is the 20th. The Halloween Dog Parade is going to be on October 29th. That's going to be at 9 a.m. out here on the veranda/golf area. Please sign up for that. We did originally have a COVID clinic that was scheduled in the month of October. You'll notice I passed that over. That had to be rescheduled, and that will now be on November 2nd. So the COVID clinic is on November 2nd, and that will be the newest Omicron-specific, bivalent, whatever the terminology is nowadays. That will be that vaccine that they'll give for both Pfizer and Moderna. We do have one table left for the craft fair. That's in November 4th and 5th. And then we also have our Veterans Walk. And traditionally here at the district delegates, we've had a little battle between a couple of districts as to who's going to donate the most money. If anybody is interested in participating, the Recreation Department will provide an ice cream social to the district that does donate the most money. So Now's the time to start thinking about that and get that ball going. We do have applications for individual walkers or team walkers at the reception counter, or you can come and see Linda and I. I was going to have Debbie Franklin come and talk a little bit about the Winter Wish program. I know that there are a bunch of new delegates this year, and the Winter Wish program is something that is done traditionally through the delegates in the month of November. So at your next district delegate meeting, wow, that's difficult to say. She will be here, and she will have families from within the community who have registered through the school so that they are vetted that they have a need, and she will have various families set up at a table, and the district delegates will then select those families, and they'll have a wish list of some of the things that that family needs or would like for Christmas. It's done through the Banning School District, and some things are as simple as socks and foundation garments, up to small toys and things like that. So that's done through Debbie Franklin and the Holiday Wish program. And like I said, she will be here next month with tables and information on the families that are available. So I just wanted to get that word out, start thinking about that, because that will be something we'll need to take care of at your next district delegate meeting, as well as select tree locations for your Christmas tree.
She's right here.
Oh, there you are, Debbie. I'm sorry, I didn't see you come in.
I might mention the fact that this is one of the obligations that befalls each district of the year. Our district delegate assembly over the years have approved 3 or 4 programs, and they've accepted them, which means it's mandatory for each district to participate. Debbie, welcome aboard, and give us an idea of what the WISH program is about, please.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. First, I want to start by saying thank you very much for being our partners to help us do this job for the last 20 years. We started it, whatever 20 years
Debbie,
ago
would you
was.
bring the microphone up a little bit so you're more
Can you hear me
direct
better now? Oh,
Much
okay. We started it about 20 years ago, and it started with Betty Metzler, for those of you who may remember her. She was a Sun Lakes resident, and she was involved in education and decided that there were children in the Banning School District that needed a little assistance during the holidays. We first started off with 9 families, then we did 27, and for about the last 15 years, we've done over 100. We usually run about 100 to 125 families, and we try to give something to each student that is in 12th grade and below for the holidays, and we also try to give them a warm jacket, a couple pairs of socks, a toothbrush and toothpaste, because some of children do share toothbrushes in the household. And then we try to give them something worth up to $50 or $75, depending on how much our budget is. Like I say, we've done it for 20 years, and we'd like to see if there's any interest in one of the clubs here taking it over, because some of us are getting a little up there in age. And it may not seem like it, but I am old enough to be here. So we really do, more than anything else, really want to thank you. We could not be as successful as we've been if it weren't for you. And I don't know what else to say. The forms are out to the schools. They're to have them back by October the 31st. I will be here on November the 4th or the 3rd? The 3rd. And then I will have the forms for everyone. What we do is those that aren't selected by Sun Lakes, then we shop for them. We have the parents come and pick up the pick up the gifts. We have designated times for each family. We used to try to have the parents volunteer to pay it forward that we were doing this, but with COVID restrictions, we've kind of put that to the side. And we know that there are families that still need our assistance, whether they're volunteering or not. Does anybody have any questions? If none, thank you very much.
Thank you, Debbie. Next month, Cara will have a table set up, and she will have the forms for each of the families that have completed the form and filed for participation in the Holiday Wish program. I urge you, please, take 2 or 3, because we've noticed lately that the families are only 2 or 3 children, and with the amount of money that we are getting from our districts, I think that we should be able to buy gifts for maybe 6, 7, 8 people, children and the family. So those are little tidbits that at least give you up to date. Cara, you have anything to add, please?
No, thank you for that extra time today. Yes, ma'am, you had a question? We'll make a trade.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You mentioned that it was first the Winter Wish Program,
The
and
it's
this
called the Holiday Wish Program. So,
normally
I
it's
mean,
a holiday,
yes.
but I was just wanting to make sure so that when we put it out there, we put it all the same.
It's the Holiday Wish.
Holiday Wish.
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
misspoke.
That's what I wanted to clarify.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Cara. Thanks for your help. And Debbie, thank you for taking time and attending our meeting today. We'll see you soon. The next item on our agenda is Thomas with the Food and Beverage Department.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Thomas Anagnostopoulos, and I'm the Director of Food and Beverage here at Sun Lakes. And as always, I'm happy to be here and happy to report to you what's been going on in the restaurant and all the events that we're planning, that we've had, and that we're planning in the next few months. So looking back at September, after Labor Day, we launched Monday Night Football in the lounge. It has proven to be a very nice Monday Night Football crowd and party. People are participating, enjoying the camaraderie, the friendships, the games, the libations, the food, and just a place to get together on Mondays. And we are very grateful for those that have supported this endeavor. And I believe the residents are happy as well that we have the facility open on Monday, at least in the evenings. So thankfully, it's going very well. It's being run by Matt and by Christine, our second bartender, and together they do a fine job. So I am here, but you don't see me because I'm in the back getting the food out of the kitchen. But I am here to assist them. Also, we did launch we opened the restaurant on Tuesday evenings, and we launched the Mexican extravaganza buffet, which has gone over quite well. We're very grateful for that. And also, we turned the restaurant on Thursdays, and we do a pasta feast that the chef puts together. And we are very grateful for that as well. The numbers are even better than we expected, and the covers or head counts, we're doing probably 3 times the amount. We're serving 3 times the amount of people than we did on a regular Thursday evening. So people have embraced this event, and again, tickets are pre-sale. You can buy them at the hostess station ahead of time. This allows us to be able to kind of plan accordingly and how much food to prepare. And the same with Tuesdays. The numbers are pretty much equal to Thursday. So we're very happy with what we've seen so far with that. And we're doing our very best, and I think people overall seem to be very happy. So it has brought in many more people to the restaurant. So, between those events, and we're doing that on a regular basis, I must add, we must remember that on the second Thursday of the month, there will be no pasta feast. And I have to explain why, because unfortunately, and it's not unfortunately, but we cater to the ICC group on that Thursday, and it's impossible for me to be able to run the pasta feast and try to man 150 people here in the ballroom. I don't have enough people to help me, and I don't have enough cooks in the kitchen to do that, so we're kind of divided. So it's on that second Thursday of the month, and that will be for this month, so we are not selling tickets. The restaurant will be open, but I have talked to the chef about putting a couple of nice pasta dishes as dinner specials that evening, where if they would like to have a couple of different pastas, they'll be at a price point where I think everybody will be able to afford and be able to come in and have dinner. So the restaurant is open for dinner on the second Thursday, and we'll offer 2 pasta specials. Then moving on, we will have the pasta feast on the other Thursdays. So just remember that. I want everybody to understand that this is what we have to do for now until we can get where we need to be. But overall, very pleased with everything the way it's going. We move into October. Oktoberfest is set for October 15th on the veranda. It goes from 5 to 9 p.m. The menu, I'll give you a few of the items: schnitzel pork, chicken roulade, brats, sauerkraut, garlic and beer braised red cabbage, red skin mashed potatoes, German potato salad, homemade soft pretzels, cinnamon apple walnut streusel. So lots of goodies. The event is, the tickets are pre-sale again, and you can buy those at the hostess stand at the restaurant. Always remember, anytime you're buying tickets, Mondays are the only days that we don't have anybody here to sell tickets. All the other days, there will be somebody there. And the tickets, the inclusive price with the tax and service charge is $25 for this event. The seating will be exclusive to the people buying tickets for the event. The doors will open at 5, and those people that have bought tickets will be able to get their tables and sit down, and those that only want to come for the festivities, yes, they can come, but it won't be until after 7 o'clock. So between 5 and 7 will be the dinner hour and time where those that have purchased tickets, they're guaranteed a place to sit. We'll try to maximize our seating out there as much as we can, and then anybody else that wants to come and enjoy the music, there will be a live band, will be able to come in after 7 o'clock and have a drink and relax and enjoy the festivities as well, okay? So we're excited about that. Chef Chris has got some lovely things planned, and I'm very confident with him, and I'm not too worried about what he's going to do. He's full of surprises. So with that said, moving forward, Greek night. So, you know, Thomas has been here a year already. Next week, I've been here almost a year. And with that celebration, I like to celebrate it having a Greek night with the community, celebrating my Greek heritage and bringing in delicious Greek food. I will have a live band. There will be Greek dance instruction, so we will teach you how to do the Zorba, after a shot of ouzo, of course. But, and there will be belly dancers, and I promise it will be a wonderful evening for everyone to remember. So for those of you, we have already sold more than half of the tickets in a week's time, so they're selling fast, but there are tickets still for sale, and you can purchase those as well. It is $40 a person, and it is inclusive, including the tax and service charge. So it will sell out, and I am very excited to do this again. It's been 5 years since I had the last one, and many have asked and are anticipating this, so I brought the event back, and it will be, if you can't be here for whatever reason, you're away, I get it, some other commitments, we will have this as a yearly event, and we'll do it next year. Yes, Linda? Yeah, I'm sorry. The Greek night is Saturday, November the 5th, and the event is from 5 to 9 p.m. here in the ballroom. Okay? Yes?
I'd like to thank you for featuring the winner of the Happy Cookers apple pie.
Would you please, whoever is speaking, please come up and use the microphone, please.
Okay.
It-
As soon as I'll give you the microphone, Linda. Actually, I can give it to you right now. Since we're talking about the Happy Cookers and the wonderful apple pie recipe that we're serving in the restaurant. Go ahead.
The winner of the Happy Cookers Baking, Apple Pie Baking Contest has a featured apple pie that is being featured as a dessert all this month, and it is delicious.
Who was the winner of this?
The winner was Anna Krebs.
She had a beautiful recipe. The recipe was given to our department, and our pastry chef, Mike, has created her recipe and her pie, and we are serving it for this month in the restaurant. It's also written and featured on our little board when you first enter the restaurant. So if you like to come and try it, you're more than welcome to. We will feature for the whole month of October, okay? Good. So moving forward, aside from Greek night, we're going to roll into Thanksgiving. I'm sorry.
Just a
I'm so
second,
sorry,
please.
Pat, go ahead, yes.
Can we get some of that pie to go, like after we leave here? Can we get to-go pie?
Sure. Anything's for sale,
I
Pat.
tried yesterday, but they said I couldn't get it yet.
No, the pies, we have created them. They're ready to go now.
All right,
Okay.
we'll all get some.
Yes. So, and with that said, then we move into Thanksgiving, and we have planned Thanksgiving meals to go. For those that don't want to cook on Thanksgiving Day, we will have, Chef Chris has put together a lovely to-go menu with I believe it's a container that they'll be able to heat their meal in it, and he'll even give you the heating instructions. So the turkey, it will have turkey, white and dark meat. It'll have the gravy on the side, cranberry sauce, green beans, mashed potatoes, sweet potato casserole. You're going to get a couple of little Hawaiian rolls on the side and a slice of pumpkin pie. We are taking orders at the hostess station at the restaurant for these, so you'll need to put your reservation in. The pickup time will be the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, between 12 and 3 p.m. The meals will be ready to go, and I know it'll be lovely. So for those of you that want to forego, or it's just you and you don't want to cook, then you're more than welcome to order through us and pick it up on that day. The meal is $19.95, not including the tax and service charge, okay? Also, we will do this year Thanksgiving buffet. So the chef and I have put together calling it a bountiful feast. And it will be a beautiful Thanksgiving buffet here in the ballroom. We are excited about it. We're going to do 2 seatings. We're going to try things a little differently. And the seatings will be from 11 to 1 p.m. You'll have 2 hours to enjoy the brunch, enjoy your family, your friends. And the second seating will be from 1:30. We'll have a 30-minute in between. That will also give us some time to restock and replenish the buffet. And we'll do a 1:30 to 3:30. So there'll be 2 seating times. That will be set up at the hostess stand when you make your reservations. Again, pre-sale tickets. This way it gives us an idea of how many to plan for. And some of the lovely things that the chef will be putting together, aside from, and you know there's a shortage of turkeys right now. So I'm a little worried. We may serve lamb, I don't know. No. We'll get there, we'll figure it out. But carved roasted turkey, of course, stuffed pork tenderloin, bacon-wrapped pork tenderloin stuffed with apples and onions and herbs, traditional dressing, cranberry sauce, turkey gravy, dark meat, of course, a separate area for dark meat turkey, baked bourbon salmon, confetti rice, cheese manicotti, mixed vegetables, whipped potatoes, candied yams, marshmallow crumb, with a marshmallow crumb topping, French-style green beans, corn, and of course, you'll have several different salads. There'll be rolls, butters, and desserts, chocolate cake, tri-berry cobbler, bread pudding, pumpkin pie, and ice cream. So it will be a nice Thanksgiving feast. And we are not featuring breakfast on this. It's going to be more of a dinner, Thanksgiving traditional dinner feast. The price is $34.95 for adults, and the children 10 and under is $16.95. Children 5 and under are free. And again, 2 seatings, and I believe we'll have a nice crowd. We'll do it here in the ballroom like we always do, and that way everybody can bring their friends and family, and at least you know you have a place to go on that day if you don't want to deal with it. So we're excited about that, and of course, as we get into December, lots going on, and I'll be very quick. I'm very grateful to all the delegates. I've met with most of you and planning your parties for Christmas. We have a lot of events, and I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful for you working with me and being patient with me. There's a lot going on, and I don't need to get too wordy here, but I'm a little challenged in a lot of different departments, but I am handling all the banquets, and I want to make sure that everything is the way it should be, and we give you a nice event for your parties and for your all you delegates and all the residents here at Sun Lake. So,
Thomas, to set up the Christmas parties, or the holiday parties, so to speak, you want them to call you and set up an appointment?
you know, Joe, they already have. I'm working on the last 2. Everybody has reached out to me already.
Already, okay. I want to make sure that, and we have a lot of new delegates, but again, the tradition in the delegate.
I'm meeting the last few in the next few days, and I think that's going to thing. But we have a full itinerary and a full book for that month. So we're very grateful. We thank you for that, and I just look forward to, you know, I can't believe we're almost coming to the end of the year, but we are grateful for all of your support and for helping us get the restaurant and move it forward. And it has been a challenging year, but I know 2023 will be even better, and that's all we can hope for. And I thank you for all your support. Okay, any questions? Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I just had 2 questions. The Monday Night Football is going to be ongoing until the end of the season.
Yes,
And the Tuesday taco, is that going to be an ongoing program?
it is.
And that is also prepaid?
It is.
Thank you.
Yes. And there are people, yes.
mentioned that during December, no.
Oh, that's right. So my apologies. Monday Night Football, yes, in December. Thank you, Chris, because there's so many things happening. We must say that because of the amount of Christmas parties and holiday parties that we're doing here at Sun Lakes, unfortunately, we will not be offering the buffets or the Mexican and the pasta buffet on the month of December. We will resume in January as like normal, but because of those parties and for staffing reasons, I can only do so much. I'd love nothing more, but I can't divide
So
it.
the Monday Night Football and the Taco Tuesday and the pasta won't be available?
The Monday Night Football, sir, will be available.
Well, okay.
That will stay, but
the
just
ta-
the
but the tacos-
Tuesday and Thursday. The restaurant will be open for dinner on Thursdays, like normal.
Right.
It's just the Tuesday will not.
Thank
And go ahead.
Yes, Thomas, what was the date for the buffet, for the Harvest Buffet?
That's the Thanksgiving is Thursday, November 24th.
That was $34.95.
Yes, for the adults and $16.95 for the kids.
Really?
Thank you.
Use the microphone, please.
Is any of this information on the website?
Well, all this just got put together, so
Okay.
it will get to the website, yes.
Okay.
Yes, you'll start to see it this week. All this information, we just put it together in the last few days with the chef, so now this will get funneled to marketing, and they'll
So we are
Remember,
gonna be
we're at the
working on that.
beginning of
Yeah.
October, and they're just putting their schedules together, and certainly they'll give us plenty of time, and it will be on the website.
So
Okay,
website,
thank you.
Facebook, we're also going to try to get it ahead on the lifestyles for the December notification.
Correct.
So-
Anyone else?
Thank you, Thomas.
Questions? Good. Thank you so much.
for all your help. Next item on our agenda is Carol Elliott from the Board of Directors on the Restaurant and Lounge Advisory Committee. Carol?
Hi, I'm not Carol. Carol couldn't be here today. My name is Sharon Robinson. I
You switched
serve
on
along
me.
with the wonderful Carol, so I've volunteered to step in and just speak on behalf of the Restaurant and Lounge Committee to you today.
You don't look like a Carol, you're right.
I don't look like Carol, yeah. First of all, I want to thank you for allowing us to once again come before you with what we feel is important information and also a request. Each district delegate plays such an important role and a critical one in effectively communicating to our community as a whole. It is one of the only forms of communication that we have within the community that we know can reach all 3,372 homes here in Sun Lakes. While there are other options, such as the Lifestyle magazine, which is a wonderful publication, the space allocated to highlighting the restaurant and lounge is limited, and timing can be an issue. Our own sunlakescc.com site is useful for those who can and do utilize the site. But as you know, not everyone within our community is tech savvy or may not think to use that as a resource and a way to get information that they are looking for. A wonderful and entertaining option is our very own Good Day Sun Lakes on Facebook. However, only about 1,700 of the 3,300 home owners are signed up on this site. Then you have to wonder, of course, how many are checking it regularly. And lastly, there is Channel 97, and the Marketing and Communication Committee, specifically our very own Bob Murray and Hernan, do a great job in creating and posting great content. However, how many are actually watching at any given time, and that is something as well that we need to consider. The restaurant and lounge, unfortunately, is on pace to lose over $500,000 this year. Those losses are covered by each and every one of us as a subsidy in our monthly HOA fees. There are things that have to be done to try to reduce those losses that we've been working on, and they've included our new menus, soliciting feedback through the survey car program from the community, more affordable events, and the list goes on. And Thomas does a great job, and I appreciate First Service, the board, Thomas, them all working towards how can we continue to make it an environment where people want to continue to come and frequent our very own restaurant. However, one of the biggest opportunities is in better communicating to the community that everyone is needed in supporting the restaurant and lounge. Just taking the monthly transactions, it appears that only around 10% of the community is using the restaurant and lounge. However, if we can get the word out to everybody of all the events and specials available and encouraging them to come out even just once a month, the results would be amazing. If all 3,372 homes spent at least $25 each month, it would result in over $1 million in restaurant revenue. Let that sink in for a minute. Now, the question is, how can you help? By spreading the word. That includes a paragraph that hopefully you would be willing to put into your district delegate newsletter highlighting the restaurant and lounge. Our committee will prepare a monthly paragraph and supply it either digitally or in print, and I have them here for you today, that you can insert into your monthly newsletter, or you can write your own. I have read some very creative and very informative newsletters, and I appreciate those. So this month, I'll just read what we wrote. It says, have you been to the restaurant and lounge recently? You now have additional opportunities to visit. On Monday night, they now offer the Monday Night Football event from 4:30 to 9, complete with halftime trivia. Come enjoy traditional tailgating appetizer and $1 off draft domestic beers. Then on Tuesday, the restaurant now offers the Taco Tuesday Fiesta Extravaganza Buffet. And on Thursday, an out-of-this-world Italian buffet. Check out Chef Chris's weekly specials or enjoy one of the many wonderful options available on the regular menu. There's a special one-night-only Greek night on November 5th with tickets on sale now. You can find specific details and menus at www.sunlakescc.com, Channel 97, or on Good Day Sun Lakes on Facebook, or call the restaurant directly at 951-769-6654. Remember, when you frequent our restaurant and lounge, you're not only enjoying a great meal, you're supporting your community. So we would really appreciate if you would consider supporting the community and the restaurant and lounge by just adding this paragraph into your district newsletter. We would really appreciate the support, as I'm sure Thomas and his team. They've been doing a great job, and we really appreciate their being open and supportive of what the restaurant lounge is trying to help them with as well. So thank you for your time. I'm just going to pass these around, and you guys can take them. Thank you so, so much. Question?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Raylene.
Yeah, I would like to know, why isn't the sandwich part of that?
The sandwich, we would like to highlight that. They're looking actually at some changes coming up right now with the sandwich, so I didn't want to put information out that wasn't as correct as it can be. One of the things that I do appreciate First Service and the board, they're looking at more closely the business aspect of the running of the restaurant, which is the fiduciary right thing to do when it comes to our community, and I appreciate that. So with that change being looked at, I didn't want to put out incorrect information, but the sandwich is fabulous. I tell you, their breakfast, my husband, I like to think I'm a good cook, but their chicken fried steak, he just raves, he keeps ordering the same thing. It's delicious.
Are there any other questions?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Will you be giving us that every month?
We would like to. If you're open to it and we can help in any way, we appreciate your support.
Makes it easier. Perfect.
Yeah, and that was that's what I kind of realized. I can't imagine what you guys do in writing and being so creative and coming out with something new every month.
Yeah,
So
good
we
idea.
wanted to support you that way. Use it, add to it, whatever works for you guys. We just appreciate your adding that into your newsletter if your room on your newsletter allows for that. We appreciate it. Anybody else? Okay, thank you again for having us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your information. Okay, the next item on our agenda is a report from the Charitable Trust. David is not available today. I would like to let you know that the board of the Charitable Trust is putting together, working on right now the allocation of funds available for the charities that they're going to honor this year. And the presentation will be in November. So at the very beginning of November is our meeting, and he will give us the date and the outcome and so on. Okay? The next item is the EPAP report.
Good afternoon. We are starting to offer CPR and AED classes for anybody who is interested in taking those. The first class will be October 25th. There is a flyer currently on the EPAP website with the dates and times. We're continuing to prepare for the drill. Most of the districts have met with their EPAP volunteers and have all of their plans in place for what we will do. The drill is October 20th at 10:20 in the morning. We did attend Activities Day. We received 3 volunteers that signed up that day. We received several individuals that indicated that they might be interested in volunteering. And if someone approaches you and your district is full, which there are only maybe 1 or 2 that are, and you don't need volunteers, consider your companion groups and see if possibly they need some extra volunteers. We would like to ask the delegates if EPAP could submit a quarterly newsletter and other special bulletins that would be added to the delegate newsletter, and you have a copy of one that we printed out concerning the upcoming shakeout and drill and other information that might be useful. If you approve us doing this newsletter on a quarterly basis, we'd like to ask the master board if we can include it in the packet that you guys pick up from Lithopass. And then you would just automatically have it. We wouldn't have to send it to you. If for some reason you don't feel that that would work, we would be more than happy to send a copy to Joe or to each of you individually. We have provided a copy of the latest newsletter on your packets, and we urgently need help in getting these out to the residents to inform them of the upcoming drill. Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
Thank you
mentioned
for your
the-
help. Go ahead, George.
You mentioned the website. What's the address of the website?
It's sunlakescc.com, and you go over to community information.
Oh, okay, so it's
The
on.
drop
it's on-
down.
Okay, it's on the Sun Lakes website. You don't have a
Correct.
separate site. Okay. thank
Correct.
you.
Yes.
I did not get a copy of whatever it is you passed out.
Can we have a PDF of this EPAP news?
Yes.
My newsletter's already gone out.
Oh, okay.
It goes out the first of the month, so anything that you have, if you want me to get it out, I need a PDF. I have 125 or 30 email addresses of my residents, and it's a very good way to let them know.
I'm sorry, what was your name? Okay,
District
yes,
10. But for your information, all the delegates' information, our meeting at the behest of the Board of Directors was moved from the second Thursday to the first Thursday. And therefore, we expect that the newsletters will be, and we'll discuss this a little later, all of the newsletters will go out after our meeting, not before, because the Board of Directors meeting was last week or the last fourth Thursday or Wednesday of the month. We are the first Thursday of the month, and they're rather coupled together, and then you have the whole month to get your newsletter out, okay? Go ahead if you want
yes.
to.
I can send you a PDF copy when I get home. I'm sorry, you had a question.
I didn't get a copy of whatever it is you passed out.
Oh, okay. I will have to get more copies. If you can give me your name, I can send it to you electronically as well. An extra? I passed out 25, so I'm not sure. Okay, you're good? Okay, thank you. Any other questions before I step down? Yes?
Go ahead. Use the microphone, please.
Could you send, excuse me, could you send that PDF to all the delegates?
We did not send it to all the delegates,
Could
no.
you? Could
Yeah.
you, though?
Oh.
Because our newsletter's already gone out as well.
All-
Because we have a function coming up, and we had to advertise that. So I could send it out separately, email it, so.
All
that'd
of
be
the
great.
notifications sent to the assembly are sent to me. And I check with the board of directors to see about the distribution of it. So therefore, we are asking all of the clubs, the groups, the advisory groups, and anyone else on campus here that nothing be sent out to the delegates, but to the officers of the assembly. Go ahead.
My question is, can we get this printed with our newsletter and have that available to attach when we distribute our newsletter, this
Yes.
sheet?
She just said she's going to ask the board to okay.
We are
Oh,
going.
we have to
we're-
okay it.
If you'll notice, this is on the agenda. Okay.
I have one more question, or I thought I did.
Go ahead.
She was asking the same thing. The problem is that we get them, like you'll email it to us, and then I think the community action one's already sent, and so it was like I had to pull one off because I had included it in mine. So it needs to be one way or the other, is all I'm saying.
Anything more from EPAP?
No, thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your help. The next subject on our agenda is the district newsletter. Now, the district newsletter is one of the items that was approved of by the assembly umpteen years ago, and is one of the obligations that each district publish a newsletter and make sure that each home receive a newsletter every month. And there's no exception to that. Okay? However, you get it to the homes. If you have a 100% email list, that's marvelous. If you have your district zone captains pass them out, like I do, each month, that's available if you pass them out yourself, whatever the system might be. Are there any questions or any topics for discussion on that? Go ahead.
What do you do? There are a couple people who have called me and told me, asked me personally, their district doesn't give them a newsletter. They haven't a clue what's going on. How do they? I told them to contact you or Jim.
Okay. What we have, and Jim and I both did an audit of what is posted on the website of the Sun Lakes. And there are 12 districts that have submitted their newsletter to be published on the website. Just 12, so that's only half. We ask that you please, each month, send, as you have it published and distributed to your homeowners, that you send a copy to Jason or whomever he dictates. Okay, and I will give you that email address as an email so that we get it properly. There are 5 that are totally blank. 5 districts have nothing on file. Now, next time I give a report like this, I'm going to mention the districts. I will not do that today. There is one in April, was the last one posted, one May, one June, 2 July, and 1 August. That tells me a lot. It tells me either you aren't publishing it, and if you are, most of I think you are, then you're publishing it late, and I don't know why you don't want it posted. Other district delegates read and check the newsletters from everyone. At least I do. But whatever the reason might be, I am asking you to sincerely make sure that a copy is sent out to the Sun Lakes website.
You know, a lot of this came about because I had some people call me while Joe was on vacation, and they said, you know, we came in June or July, we don't know who the delegate is, we don't know who the alternate is, we haven't had a newsletter, and so I went onto the website to see maybe they had one posted that I could tell these people, hey, check this out, and nothing had been posted all year, and it was kind of unfortunate. There's not a lot of things that we are kind of obligated to do, but this is one of them. And don't think of it as an obligation. And, you know, we leave a lot of people disappointed if we're not getting it up there. And it doesn't take that much to send it to one word individual. Thanks.
Okay, any questions on the newsletter? Not at all. The next item on our agenda has to do with the EPAP, now monthly newsletter. Is this going to be a monthly or a quarterly?
Dick and I discussed that, and we thought that it would be best if it would be quarterly. We can always submit something on an off month if we need to.
I think that's a valid point. I don't think you have that much to say every month, to be
Right.
honest with you. So, over the years, I've been involved with EPAP, so I think quarterly would be very nicely. And I would ask, if it were published quarterly, if the Board of Directors would consider it to be attached to the newsletters at the printers, since it's just a quarterly.
Yes, whatever the district delegates
Okay.
prefer, we will go along with that.
Let's open this for discussion, and then we'll actually have a vote, what we would like to do. Go ahead.
I'd like to, is this one going to be part of when you get your newsletter printed? Is this one for October?
This would be it.
Going to be automatically printed with your
That's what we're going to decide today.
Okay.
Any other questions? I would entertain a motion, and the motion would be to have it quarterly attached at the printer. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any negative? Mr. President, is that all right?
Perfect.
All right, sir,
We
thank
want to
you.
make sure that
Dolores?
this announcement comes out, because this is a real important one for the earthquake drill.
Okay, Jim and I had talked about this. Who pays for all of these? I mean, the HOA, but I guess my first question should be, how many delegates that put out flyers for their events pay for those out of their own district monies or bill it to the HOA?
When the Board of Directors approve an addition to be sent out each month, the Board of Directors are the ones that pay for it. It does not attach, and it is not charged to each district.
So the districts don't have to pay for their own flyers?
No, the districts.
Flyers for like events?
Okay. You have no money, except what you might have in your treasurer.
Correct.
Okay, that's basic. However, the Board of Directors sets up a fund each year whereby they defray the expense of the newsletters.
I got that.
Okay? And that amount is established by the board, by the administration, really. Okay? Now, if we send something different in addition, like a flyer to your newsletter, that's an additional cost. That means your district is charged additionally. If that gets up to a point, the Board of Directors is going to notify us saying, hey, you're spending too much money. If you're trying to print 3 and 4 and 5 pages every month.
Okay.
That we don't want.
Maybe I'm not making myself
Okay.
clear. Pardon me?
So we understand that.
No.
Any
no.
other questions?
My question is, like, I just printed some flyers for our upcoming Halloween costume party. We pay the district pays for it themselves, and I've always have. And when I was talking to Jim, he does too, and I spoke with Daniel, and he said most of the districts bill it to the HOA. Well, I thought we had to pay it ourselves because the HOA does not benefit from our events.
Well, the district, yes, if you have a flyer, go ahead.
Joe, I was just to state, Dolores, you are correct. Traditionally, the way it was worked and the way the line item in the budget is set up, it is set up for your district newsletters. So that is your monthly newsletter. If you as a district and your social committees are having your own little events and own little parties and you're creating flyers for them, the printing of that is on your district, not the association.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to clarify. Okay.
right.
Okay, one more thing. I'm sorry. Like this flyer here, who pays for this? The HOA pays for this as well? I mean, why can't things be made like we don't need this big giant logo here?
No,
And
this is paid by the individual.
it's paid by the individual?
Yes, it has nothing.
Okay.
Anything
that's-
handed out at this meeting, whether it be this and anything additional, is to my knowledge, it has been paid for by the clubs or the groups or the organization that is giving this to us. Okay?
Only reason I bring it up is because we've been told before that the cost of the newsletters were getting to be too much money, and we need to keep our district information to a minimum, but then we're asked to put all of these flyers.
That's why we are requesting, when it's necessary, like the EPAP quarterly, we are requesting that the board approve, and therefore the board does absorb the cost. Okay? Anything that you might add, however, then that's charged against your district. Raylene, you had something?
Jason, as far as I'm concerned, and my opinion is that a party is part of the district newsletter. That's how you get it out. So
Right,
What's your
Raylene, and
definition?
you're absolutely correct. And what I have seen in the past is a little blurb, we're having a party here at the pool, whatever.
Or a
But-
sign-up sheet.
Right. But what Dolores is talking about is sometimes some districts have individual flyers for their events.
Yeah,
like
I do.
And that's what she's talking about. That flyer should be paid for by the district. If you want to put it in the newsletter, put in a little blurb in your standard newsletter. But creating a whole new flyer for your event that's specific just to your district should be on the district, not the association.
I disagree, but.
How do you get it on the district budget?
No. No, he's correct, and that's been the practice as long as I can remember. If the district puts out a flyer, they pay for it. If they add it into their newsletter, then obviously the board or our budget pays for it. Okay? Any questions? Go ahead, Jeannie.
Well, we kind of do a combo, I guess. We just did our newsletter for October, and we're having an event on Sunday, and on the back of my front page, which was the news, which was mostly just stuff that, you know, the EPAP thing coming up, and whatever else I put on there, I can't remember. On the back of that page, we put our flyer for our block party we're having on Sunday, and thank whoever was helping with the HOA that helped us get that all taken care of. Then, when we come to this meeting and you say, put this in your newsletter, well, if there's a flyer for it, I'm going to download that off the website, drag it off, and print it in my newsletter, because it seems really silly to have to recreate all that information and take my time to do that, and we put it in our newsletter. And sometimes we have 3 pages, sometimes we have 5, sometimes we have 6. But nobody has ever designated a specific number of pages we can put in. If we can put these flyers like this in, include it with our newsletter, my husband can scan this, it can go in. It already went, so if I have a PDF, I can shoot it out over email. But I think there needs to be some rule of how many pages we can put out each month. And I mentioned to Joe once, we can do color paper once or twice a year if we have a party or something. So we did that. And nobody's, in all these 10 years we've been doing it, nobody's come and said, well, you know, you're doing too much. You're putting too much in. So I think if there was some standardized rule of what we should do, it would help everybody.
Well, there hasn't been a fast rule, so to speak, that you are allowed only 4 pages or 3 pages or whatever it might be. But if you have more than 2, in my estimation, then you're over. You should therefore take your flyer and mention it in your newsletter, and don't put a flyer attached to it, whatever it might be. But I think you have to practice some type of savings, some type of, go ahead.
Joe, and delegates, last couple of years, the board has said a front and back is what we want you to keep your newsletters to. And the current board is, so it's basically 2 pages, 1 piece of paper. At holiday time, going a colored one for a flyer has been acceptable. I'm correct on that, right, Jason? Thank you. And so that's the key. So the guideline basically is 2 pages. And other than that, if you've got extra stuff, that's where we're talking about that the district may have to cover. Like, I know when I was a delegate, I added a flyer to it. I paid for the 1 page for the flyer, or 2-sided, whatever it was, and paid that directly to LithoPass from the district, and then they put it with the rest of it, and they billed the 2 pages to the HOA.
Very good. Okay.
Okay,
Jamie?
so if we
All right.
go to the printer and we pick up our newsletter and we sent them a PDF of our pages.
2.
Okay, and one of those is our flyer that's on the back of the
All right,
news.
you put it on the back if you'd like. Yes.
Okay, and that's our news, 1 page of paper, 2 sides.
That's right.
Now,
Okay.
do we give him the printer money then for that back page of our flyer? Or, he said the district pays for it, but how do we pay the board then for it? What's the process?
The board, pretty much what I said is what's been the acting policy. We just talked very quickly, and we'll get with the board. We'll get a written policy out of what the HOA will do, and we'll run it by you guys, we'll have discussion, and then we'll get that approved, in the next month or two.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you very
I
much.
think so.
Okay?
That would be really great. Maybe have something, new rules for newsletters starting in January
I
or
think we
something.
just better let it lie until we hear from the board of directors, okay? All right. Raylene, last shot.
So you're saying only 2 pages, and ours is, it used to be bigger, I got it down, this is from Frank DiNucci, we have 200 people. It's a really active district. I got it down to 4, which was great. Back and front. 2 pages. No, they're saying back and front 1.
Oh, okay. No, it's 1 page.
1 page, double-sided.
1 page printed on 2 sides.
So you're asking us to put all of this kind of stuff in and all of this other stuff in, which
You don't have to put any of it in.
I want to get information out, and this is like the number 1 thing my people say they read.
That's up to you.
But it's not, because you're saying I can't do 4 pages.
Okay?
One of the-
All right, we will hear from the board of directors in the near future then, okay?
Thank you, correct.
Okay.
Won't be effective until January.
Chris, you want to do the budget, please?
Sure. Let's go ahead and talk about budget for district delegates. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Joe. Joe, I'm just kidding. Wah, wah. Okay. Delegates, welcome. Members who are watching on TV, members that are here. I like how we're all squished together, kumbaya feeling here. That's awesome. We had already had a budget workshop on Tuesday, so I'm going to give you some recap of what happened and then go into a little bit more detail on something else. So first, let's start off, if I can have your attention to the board. You'll see that the biggest changes we're right now on draft 4 of the budget, if you haven't been watching on TV. But some of the changes that occurred, community patrol, the RFP responses, excuse me, have come back. And right now we look to reduce about 116,000 based on the responses in that RFP. So the budget line item will be reduced, so we found some savings there. We've been working with the board and our credit card processing company. We're going to migrate to a new credit card processing, and that found about $40,000 savings, which is great news for the members. In the discussion with the last board executive, Robin Brown, the senior vice president of First Service, offered to maintain the management fee, the $15,000 and change each month, or keep it at the 2020 level. We haven't raised our fees since 2020, and so that reduction actually helped $16,937 for the members. We looked at might remember at the last, or the first workshop, we talked about golf rates, and one of the areas we will be looking at is increasing some of the rates for guests. That will be rolling out at the open session on the 26th. We'll have that discussion. But preliminary estimates, working with Brian, it's roughly 10 grand of additional golf revenue. The board talked with staff about Movies Under the Stars, that we're going to be pulling that, eliminating that, and that saves about $5,000 for the year. So we had some savings. So where are we at then right now, looking at the overall by department, where are we looking at? And right now, through draft 4, we're about a $6.67 increase per month. Largest areas where we're seeing the increases is in the restaurant and lounge, golf course maintenance, and of course the Spectrum contract. That contract goes up. There's a 5-year agreement. It's the only agreement we can have over a year that can continue to renew. We are in, Jason, I think the 3rd year right now, entering the 3rd year, so there's 2 more years left. This is the bulk TV and internet. And so those are some of the large changes year-over-year dollar amount. Again, property protection being reduced, and some of the areas are increasing slowly. So let's then go on to by expense category, and that's to blind you. Obviously, I didn't get the right color. Hernan, Bob, I'll work with you next time on making sure we have the right color. But if you could see that with your X-ray vision, you would see that the salaries, benefits, and outside services, they're the largest part of the budget. And salaries and benefits are the on-site staff. That is the largest expense category we have in the association, followed by outside services. That is the community patrol, that's the landscaping, then bulk cable and internet. And of course, our repair and replacement contribution. So with year over year, we're looking at combine all the income from assessments, non-assessment income, golf revenue, and bar and lounge. We're at about 3.3% increase year over year. So some of the key takeaways, 51% of the operating budget is made up of on-site labor and outside services. Those are the big chunks of cost within the association. And one of the big drivers of this is labor, the labor market. I understand many people are talking about recession, but within the service industry, they are not. Yes, you're seeing Tesla layoff, you're seeing Uber, whatever, layoff, Lyft layoff. I haven't seen any Starbucks layoffs yet. I haven't seen any McDonald's layoffs yet, because that segment of the industry, and this will be online, so you don't need to take pictures unless you want to take pictures. It's cool. But I will provide this to the delegates in an email. You don't have to put it in a newsletter, because then it's going to be a 10-page newsletter. Don't want that. But I will provide this to you delegates, and then it's also going to be posted online. But we're seeing wage increases and they're large jumps. And so we've had to account for that. We've had some loss of staff. I'll talk about that in my admin update report. Now, electricity and water, we had planned a slight reduction because of some of the restrictions by the city of Banning on our watering, the electricity related to the pumps. We're reducing that. But we had a meeting today. We had, and I know many of the residents have received some notifications. I think Bob might talk about that, or Randy during their comments. But there is a potential increase. I won't steal his thunder. I'm just letting you know we're going to have to reevaluate based on some of the information we just received before this meeting in talks with the city. So I thank the board for setting up that meeting with the city. Our reserve contributions currently are under review. So the brand new draft 2023 reserve study, we just received it. Pretty close to in line with the contribution expectation. But the board and the Finance Advisory Committee will still need to look at it and evaluate, are there things that we need to defer? Are there things, excuse me, that we need to pull forward? And then finally, a key takeaway, golf rates are expected to increase in 2023. So that kind of gives you the highlights of what's been happening over the budget. We're going to be having our open session meeting coming up October 26th. It's a 3 p.m. meeting in here. I'll give a full presentation on the budget, and that is where the board will make a decision on what the assessment is going to be, accept the budget, or deny the budget. And also in November, we'll have the recreation calendar and the golf calendar coming for the open session for the board to review. So that's where and the golf rates will be on the October 26th agenda for approval. So one of the things that I heard in our meeting Tuesday, I'm hoping all of you watched it with popcorn or Sun Likes chips, and watched the excitement that was discussed. And there seems to be a focus on food and beverage. We had Sharon come up, talk about it. I know several of the delegates have talked about it. And so I thought about, well, why not? What is an HOA restaurant? Because I think there is some inherent confusion. So some of the key questions that were asked, why is the restaurant not profitable? Why are labor costs so high? A business with these losses would never be successful. So let's see what the difference is. Again, there we go. Real world, and this means outside the boundaries of Sun Lakes. Restaurants are motivated by profit. That's what they're driven to, make money. Capitalism at its best. The HOA, though, is built as an amenity and focuses on service. Profit is not the motivation at an HOA restaurant. So what happens? Well, HOAs typically try to be, and you heard this if you're watching Tuesday, typically want to be everything to everyone. I want to be able to provide you, Nita, I want to provide you something. I'm going to be Oprah. You get a dinner, everyone gets a dinner, whatever you want. Hot dogs, pizza, whatever. That's what HOA restaurants try to do because they want to provide service. Now, restaurants outside and fast food focus on profit. What do we do best? What target audience are we trying to hit? In-N-Out Burger, you're going to get great burgers. They're particularly my favorite. But they are focused on, this is the menu, this is when we do our service hours, and we do it very well. We execute it, and we make profit. Sullivan's, another example. We do steak, seafood. I don't do oatmeal. I don't do lasagna. I don't do the breadsticks. We focus, and each one of these are focused on their niche and where they can make profit. And have you, again, another key thing is they're also open. I'm going to get to that a little later. So again, profit versus service. So one of the things I also want to talk about is, we looked at the average. This is a presentation that I did. I pulled the slide from the average month sales by meal period. So let's see if the laser gets there. This is 7 a.m. if you can't read in the back there, all the way to 10 p.m. That's our service level. That's our service hours, meal periods. Now in these big circles, these are when we excel, our sales excel. Dinner, lunch. Now I'm going to be pulling up some other data, but 6 years ago I seem to remember breakfast was higher, lunch, and then dinner, they were all around the same. And I think Jason might give you an update later about the age survey, and maybe that will provide some answers. But what we're seeing is dinner is our high area. So some of the differences, I guess, small writing. As an amenity, though, we want to be the destination for members to enjoy meals and socialize. That's our charter. That is what we try to do. We keep all our business segments open. Sandwich, restaurant, lounge, and bar, veranda, pool, banquets. That's a lot of areas that we've got to man. A profit-motivated entity would look at the areas that generate the most profit and focus on those areas. Areas that do not have profit would be shuttered. So I bring up the same model, and if I was outside in the restaurant, I would say, why am I doing this? It's not making me money. Cut. Right about here, cut. I'm going to focus on my sweet spot where I can generate much revenue with the costs and make a profit. We don't. We operate all of these hours. So let's go on to labor. Why is labor so high? That was been a constant theme. Well, to operate the business segments, we must provide staff. Times of low sales can cause the association to lose money as expenses are greater than revenues. Again, I'm keeping all of these open, and what you see is the homeowner, you see the server, you see the bartender, but behind the scenes, there are cooks, there are bussers, there's dishwashers and managers. So the service expectation for the community, and what I've heard is to provide, and what I've been directed in the past boards, service expectation is to be open as much as possible. During the pandemic, we were open slowly. I want breakfast. I want breakfast. When are you going to open breakfast? We opened breakfast. We built it, but they didn't all come. And so that is where we're now looking at is we can be everything to everyone. And I have to man all of those segments with people. Maria can be, as I said in the budget meeting Tuesday, Maria can be there at 7 a.m. talking to herself. No one's there. One person may show up. We did have Beverly say that she shows up for breakfast, and she's the only one there. So there's a different thought. A for-profit motivated business would say, it's not working, cut it. An HOA, as amenity, as John Clark used to say, call it an amenity. An amenity, we try to focus on service. So let's look at the differences. Another difference in the HOA amenity and the for-profit restaurant. HOA amenity is closed to outside customers. A for-profit restaurant, open to all customers. So what happens? I mess up with Joe's salad. Joe's going to remember it. Joe's going to talk to Jim. Several members are going to be upset. My customer base is upset. I'm not going to come back. A In-N-Out Burger, a McDonald's will say, I'm sorry, your double-double was not done right, but I'm going to have 2 more customers come replace you if you don't come to my place. It's open. They have a wider customer base than we do. Price changes, menu changes are a little slower in the HOA amenity because we want to make sure we have buy-in. We try to get as much on the menu as we can while trying to think, well, I got that much inventory, but I don't sell a lot. A for-profit business says, what am I doing? Steak, fish, I'm going to focus on that. Oh, the price just changed? Reprint our menus quickly. There's difference. Wait, alcohol prices have changed? Raise our prices quickly. We're a little slower here. We also, at an HOA, have to be cognizant. There's an emotional piece, not just logical, but an emotional piece of I have to be cognizant of the people to make sure they can afford to come. And that's good. That is a good way to look at it. But when you try to compare for-profit versus an amenity, you need to take that into account that there's some constraints. And lastly, shared facilities. You know, at here, we share the ballroom with clubs, groups, and amenities because we are an amenity. We want to offer this space to you. A for-profit restaurant, a Hilton, a Marriott, who has banquet rooms are going to go for-profit. I set up, tear down, cost money. The food you're going to buy from me, they make money off their buildings, their rooms. And they allow all customers. The Shriners can come on down. Here, we're a little different. We might have to get approval for San Gorgonio to come down. Maybe we'll have the city of Banning do their event here. We've got to get approval for that. It's different. And people sometimes forget that. So you try to apply the lens of a profit restaurant and look through that lens and judge an HOA restaurant. There are some differences that people forget. So the HOA amenities are not for profit. And that's a key thing. Amenity versus for-profit cannot be judged equally. It's not an apple-to-apple comparison. If we want to focus, if the movement is to focus on more profit, we could cut service levels, breakfast goodbye. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if we look at it with a logic, unemotional, put on my green shade accountant hat, where am I losing? Breakfast, you're done. Poolside, you're not cutting it, done. Veranda, very limited hours, because the rest of the hours I can't have Gina out there waiting for people to come. Raise prices. So if we want to do that, we're going to need to think logically, not emotionally, and say, I got to raise prices. I'm sorry, your $5 wine is now going to be $7.50 or $8. Open more of the facilities for banquets. So that may be something that we have to say, well, in order to afford the cheaper breakfast, the cheaper lunch, I need another revenue source to offset that loss. That might be banquets. But then you have to balance the needs of the members to use the room versus making money. And that leads me to the sacred reevaluate closed status. Should we be allowed to have some more banquets, try to get people that normally would go to Morongo or to Tukwit and try to get them here? That would be something. That is a change. We have not approached that level. So solutions require a team effort. The board of directors, the committees, restaurant lounge, finance advisory committee, recreation committee, and the on-site staff working together to say, what do we want to be? And I think I've said that many times, is what is going to be our niche? What do we want to be? And before we do, we need to decide that, then make the business plan that aligns with what we want to be. And so with that, thank you very much. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chris. That was an excellent presentation. Jason, you have anything to report?
Oh, wait, are we on to admin report, Joe? That was number 9. I just finished number 9.
I'm sorry.
We got to let the board talk, and then we'll give you an admin update.
Yes. Thank you for the correction.
Yeah.
Mr.
Randy
President, you're on.
Randy and I will be giving that report. Thank you.
Well, for once today, I won't be the one that's talking the most, so I'm going to go very quick. You'll be, when your newsletters do get sent to the printer after today's meeting, the message for the master board will be on there. I'll go on over really quick for everybody what's going to be in that. We've already covered the EPAP earthquake drill on October 20th. Securitas is now providing patrol on the perimeter of the north side of the community as well as the east side of the RV park. We are doing that. We've also been working with the city. In our meeting today, we addressed it a little. The PD is coming to patrolling more in that area than they have in many, many years, from what I understand. The board has approved the replacement and upgrading of the carpet in the main ballroom, the hallway, the atrium, the billiards room. The carpet replacement for the lounge and restaurant will take place after a decision is made on the possible lounge expansion, which you're going to be seeing in coming weeks. Some preliminary stuff relating to the lounge expansion. The board approved a formation of a new group called Friends of Tai Chi. The updated draft of the rules and regulations was put out for a 60-day reading to the community. During that time, there was a lot of fantastic comments, both from delegates, members, and everything on that. And so it was decided at the meeting last week that we would table it, and we needed to take it back to the ad hoc committee to address some of the things that they wanted to do, and then we'll start another reading on it, but we're going to keep that moving very quickly. And lastly, the board approved a request for the Marketing Communications Committee to increase their budget for 2023 from the standard $5,000 to a $10,000. The reason for that primarily is the Welcome Home program. Just as Chris was just talking about, restaurant and costs have gone up. It costs the committee more money, just like the delegate assembly pays for, well, certain things. We will have more costs with that, so they needed that. So that's all I've got.
Thank you. The board also approved for District 16 and 17 to, on the garage sales, to use tables out there, and we're going to, all of the proceeds from that this Saturday coming up are going to go to the past action, to continue to fight, against the warehouses trying to come in here. So please participate if you can, and bring stuff over there. We'll be helping unload and getting it all set up. We're looking forward to that this Saturday. The listening sessions, they're going to be continuing the first Monday of every month, 3:30 in the Sand Wedge. Participate when you can, but please remember, you don't have to wait until once a month to share your concerns. We have our message to management process. You can go on the web page, or you can go right out here, right out the when you first come in the reception desk. You can put it in writing if you don't want to go on the web page, and put down your comments or your concerns to First Service, and we will address them on a timely manner. I noticed they've been receiving some comments about the bands and different comments, so it's not all complaints, but just any comments that you want to make. So we either go on the web page or go on the box right out here. Thank you. In addition to that, the board tabled the request for directional signs, and the reason is we want to further review that and see if there's too many signs, or if it's too cluttered, or whether it's really needed in our community. These are signs for open houses, so that's to be determined at a later date. We met today, Randy, myself, Jason, and Chris met with the city manager and the city official dealing with water, Art, kind of reviewing what's happening here with the water rate increases and what our options are with our waterfall. And as far as the waterfall, we don't have any good options. We can appeal it, we can go through the process, but it'll take a couple years through the city appealing and changing, how they defined their level 2, water restrictions. But it looks like we're going to have to redesign the waterfall at the present time without water. Just wanted to give you a heads up on that. We also discussed The proposed 218 ballot measure water increase that I know you mentioned before, and we're going to have someone from Community Awareness is going to explain exactly how that works and what we need to do to present excessive increases. The water rate increase individually will be 10% the first year, but the real problem is the sewer increase. It's going to be more than double in 1 year, 119%. So everybody is going to have a significant increase on their bill if we don't successfully protest this ballot measure. So that'll be explained briefly. The community awareness is coming up on the 24th. We're going to have a great program. Linda Hanley, a vice president of Hemet Bank, is going to do a program dealing with frauds, new frauds and scams. And we'll also continue to have the law enforcement officers from Banning PD and from Mike Romero here. And they're going to have two special, I'm not allowed to say what agency they're from, but two special federal law enforcement people will be here for that presentation. So it'll be real interesting. So I hope you can make it on that date and times, October 24th, 1 to 3 here in the main ballroom. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the report. That was excellent. Thank you. Chris?
I will be brief because Bob reminded me I exceeded the 3-minute level, so, and he's sitting right here next to me, so I can't even look at him right now. But seriously, I have 2 items, and I'm going to let Jason give his updates. Ladies and gentlemen, and it's been brought to our meeting today there is a new stop sign in the community on Myrtle Beach. Many of you may be passing it while you drive and speeding. So the limit lines have not been put in there, and also we talked today, Bob and Randy, with Jason and myself, and we're going to look at some lights, the flashing lights that can be on there to remind members there's a stop sign. And so that I just wanted as a safety, community awareness. That's what I'm gonna. That's a big awareness that we need to be aware of. Also, on a serious note as well, I'm going to ask for the patience from the delegates and the membership as a whole. We have lost. You might remember we had Cheryl in our office. We lost her. Then we had Gail. We lost her. We've lost Leslie. And that means we have new staff that are learning the process. We have to retrain. That is why the delegates have not received a new updated list of new homeowners or new tenants for your delegates, because we are going through the retraining. And unfortunately, it was short notice that we were given, and so we have been racing. You'll see Tammy Morgan, who's normally in the back office, out front because she's trying to get them up to speed very quickly so we can service the members. We have had to reschedule some of the appointments, and I know the members have been upset. We just asked for your patience during this time. We still have Desi there, but again, we have a veteran in Desi, but we have 2 new staff members that are learning the ropes. And so we will be getting, I know talked with Jason, we will be getting a list out to give you an update next week of what's happening in your districts, but we ask for your patience during that. And I believe Jason is now standing up to give an update on, I'm hoping, the age survey.
Thank you, Chris. And yes, it is pouring outside. So you may have walked in and it was sunny, but it is pouring, just to let you know. Age verification survey, just like Chris said, with the shortage of staff, the person that was doing that for us, Manny, he is now taking over for Leslie, so he has had to jump right into taking care of learning all the processing of registering and the homeowner orientation and the ID cards and so on and so forth. So he has started to input the ones that have come in, but he hasn't finalized that report yet. So I don't have really an official update for you guys. I will have one within the next week, and what I'll do is I'll email it, Joe, I'll email it to you, and then you can disperse it out, if that's okay. I will say, you guys, we are right there, going off to where we were the last time I gave you an update and seeing the number of papers that have come in. If we have not passed 80, we are right at 80. So again, I will have an official update for you guys, and I will send it to Joe, and Joe will be able to disperse that out.
What is the average age we're looking at?
Yeah, so the average age, and this is kind of what Chris was talking about earlier, 9 years ago, when I first came to Sun Lakes, our average age was 79.6, somewhere around there. What we're looking at right now is we're looking at an average age of about 72.3. So you're talking in 9 years, it's dropped 7 years on average. So we're pushing that 60 level on the average age, which shows us that a lot more residents that are moving in are working still. And that's, I think, a big attributor to why we see our breakfast sales go down. I remember, prior to COVID, there was a lot of our older residents every single day would be in that restaurant for breakfast, whether it was a cup of coffee just to shoot the breeze with their friends or a full-on meal. Don't see that anymore. And I think, again, it comes down to a lot of our residents are still working, and they're coming in for dinner. And that's why we've seen our dinner sales go up. Because I'll tell you, in the past, prior to COVID, our dinner was one of our lower sales. It was breakfast and lunch that were always our big sales. But we're seeing that kind of flip now, and I really think it has part to do with our younger residents moving in. But again, I will have an official update for you guys on the age verification next week, and again, I'll send it out to Joe.
Fine, thank you.
Just have a question.
Go ahead.
What's the cutoff date to get any last-minute forms filled out?
December 30th?
December 30th?
No, the end of the year is when we need to have everything in. But again, we don't want to wait until December 30th to turn it in.
I have some laggers, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, so technically the end of the year, but we would like to get them in as soon as possible, at least so we can, when the state comes and says, all right, turn everything in, we can show we're at least 80. That's all. That's what we're really shooting for.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Jason. Let's begin with the number one. Barbara, you want to give the delegate report on?
District 1 has no comments.
All right. 2, Loretta?
No comment.
Thank you. Jim Nickel, District 3. I attended the Activities Day representing the EPAP, but I just wanted to mention to the delegates that I met the Makua Hula Hawaiian dancers, and I used them at one of my quarterly events. They put on a great show, and they mentioned to me that they have openings for Christmas. They do a nice Christmas presentation. So, and it's a very nominal fee. So they're open in December.
Fine.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Dolores?
I said my piece.
Dolores, you're at a loss?
District 5, nothing, thanks.
District 6, no comment.
District 7, of course I have a comment. I was told that there was some discussions going on about the Welcome Committee being disbanded and that being handed off to the delegates. Is that a true
No.
statement?
Never, not,
So we still have a Welcome Committee?
there is.
You mean Welcome Home?
Yeah, the Welcome Home
Oh,
Committee.
are you volunteering to take over that? I'm just kidding. No.
You know,
The-
if I have to, I
I know
will.
you would. You would step up. But no, it's not. We still have a Welcome Home Committee. It's still functioning. That's not going to fall on the delegates to do.
Okay, great.
Thank you. That's
Yeah,
all
I-
District 9 has to say about that.
I did have somebody ask me a few days ago, how do they go about getting a speed bump installed? Yeah,
It's going to be safety. Safety committee. The recommendation, if they can send even if they send an email to Message of Management or to Jason or myself, and we'll forward it on to the committee.
Thank you.
Nothing I can say here.
No comment from 11.
District 13, just we'll look forward to the newsletter guidelines, and I'll be happy to help you with Welcome Home if they need any extra help.
Hi, Judy Creel with District 15. I did have questions. Jason just answered them about the sand wedge, because, Chris, you were saying that we were losing money, that it was empty. When we first came up here, we couldn't get a seat. So you just answered that for me, so thank you. The other thing I wanted to ask, how come we don't have any sand in the sand traps in front of my house right now?
Sand in the
Sand in the
championship?
sand traps and the
Because we
golf
did
course.
the fairway sand traps. Those were redone. Green side, I'm sorry, green, and Then on the north, we put sand in, so maybe you can tell me which ones are having an issue? 'Cause
I'm
we had-
on 7, and there's 2 right in front of, or well, right next door, really, and there's no sand. I was just wondering, because COVID's over, there's still no sand.
We've put sand in there, and so that's where, I'll be glad to go over, and we can go out there and take a look.
I'm gonna go take a look again, but
I'll go with you, we'll grab a cart and go.
I didn't think there was any there. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to ask real quick, is there a rule of the CCRs about porch lights in the whole district? If people change the colors, if someone had, somebody complained to me about somebody had a blue and pink bright porch lights. Was that allowed? I don't know.
You know what, Joe, if you don't mind, I think it's time to have a planning and compliance representative come and give an update to the delegates, because there is the lumens, there are some issues with that on the back porch lights, how bright they are. The color, off the top of my head, I can't remember the color, but I know how bright is an issue, and it is in the rules and regulations. But I think that's a great opportunity for planning and compliance, do a presentation to the delegates and to the community about that.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Okay. Really?
Hi, it's Renelle. And District 16, I would like to thank District 16 and 17 for all the work that they've done on the Pass Action Group. We've gotten volunteers for trucks and volunteers to help load and unload Saturday morning. So I hope everybody comes out and goes through all the stuff we have to sell.
Nita, District 17. You are going to help unload and load?
I'm not going to be there. I'm out of town.
No, I said I was going to.
No, I'm sorry, Bob, I meant you.
Okay.
Yeah. Chris? No?
I was not planning on it. So.
Oh, okay, all right. Anyway, we have had some wonderful things donated. So what we need now are shoppers. So want to encourage people to come out and buy a lot of stuff, and then we'll have a big donation to give to Pass Action.
Are there comic books?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bocce court.
It's on the bocce courts over on the north side. And we're going to have about 40 tables, and we're going to fill every one of them. So it's going to be a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of quality things. So.
Yes, I'll be there 8 o'clock on the 8th. I'll be there to help unload, and I'm going to bring a shopper with me.
Okay. It's this coming Saturday, and it starts at 8 o'clock, but I'm sure people will get there earlier than that.
Come early.
Nita, you've already talked to Rec about 40 tables? Have you talked to Rec already about the 40 tables? Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Because that means then I'd have to deliver 40 tables to you that day.
And set them all up.
And if you had comics, I'd be there, though.
Bonnie Seaver.
Go ahead, Beverly.
Bonnie Seaver, District 19. The only thing I want to say is that there's also a new stop sign on Riviera that I have run 5 times now because I'm so used to coming down that hill. So everybody should be aware of that one too. It's hard when there's not lines in the road, you know, it makes it
right.
easier to see.
And the flashing lights, like they, you're right.
that too.
And that's Riviera and Rio Bravo, correct? Yeah, thank you.
Actually, it's Riviera and Melhorn.
Oh, okay.
Riviera and Rio Bravo, there's always been a stop sign there. Everybody stops. They put one coming the other direction at Melhorn and Riviera, and that one it's a surprise.
I knew it was coming, I didn't know it was in yet.
District 20, no issues.
The next speaker will be Cal Martin, and I would like to introduce Cal to all the delegates and obviously to the HOA members that are watching on Channel 97. He will be, after approval by the Board of Directors, the new delegate for District 21. Welcome aboard, Cal.
Well, thank you, and I have nothing to report. I'm Mike Bowles with District 22, and I want to remind everyone that we're having a golf tournament coming up on the 29th of this month, October, called Trick or Treat. And all the golfers, we need people in this. We got to get it going. We're a little behind. We're just now publicizing a lot, but it's going to be a good tournament, good prizes. You'll have a lot of fun. All right? Thank you.
Dan Cosner, District 23. Got a couple things here. We had one heck of a surprise at Bradley and Myrtle Beach. There's nobody happy about it. Is it possible for whoever is making the decisions on stop signs and road hazards to notify the district delegates so this could be spread in the newsletter? Right now, we have nobody happy about this stop sign that's creeped up at Myrtle Beach and Bradley. Nobody's happy about the extra unburnt fuel in the air and then the brake dust. And right now, there's a lot of brake dust because nobody knows it's there until the last minute. Also, the trees. We have some concern in the district about the birch trees along Highland Springs dying off, and they're asking what is going to be done about that, and I have no answers. I'd like to get some answers on that. Other than that, I think that's about it for me.
Thank you, Cal.
I'm sorry, I should have made mention of since it is October, it slipped my mind. At the end of October, on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday matinee, there's going to be a melodrama, and I would encourage all of you to come and attend. I think you'll enjoy yourselves immensely, and you might recognize someone in the cast. I'd like to see all your smiley faces.
Okay, what group is that?
The Sun Lakes Playhouse.
Okay.
I got one more thing I forgot to mention. We've had some discussion in our district about the maintenance, especially between the north side of Turnberry. I guess there's been a lot of debris just laying there for a while. And let's see. There was one other thing, but I can't think of it right now. Sorry.
I would ask all the delegates, please, to make notes before the meeting as to what you want to say so that we can get through this. I would see now to the members of our HOA. Any of the comments? Go ahead. Please identify yourself.
Before he begins, let me address his last concern, if you don't mind, having to do with the cleaning of the debris and the leaves in the streets. What happened is that we had numerous complaints earlier in the year from residents that the street sweeper was just taking the mud and spreading it all over and making a mess. So we temporarily discontinued the service. Now, we've noticed we still have the issue of there's still debris at different areas and leaves at different areas. So what we're doing now is that we're having artistic maintenance as being assigned to that. And we have 3 artistic maintenance staff that's going out. And Mark is going to be setting up a schedule, so we're going to get a lot more service from them. So if there's any specific area that you need to have addressed right away, contact Mark Schleiden, and he'll get artistic maintenance out there. But once their schedule is up there, you shouldn't have any real problem, because we're going to have a lot more people dealing specifically with that issue. Thank you.
I do remember what it was. It's just that I don't want to bring it up.
Ken, no problem. Ken Johnson, Birdie Drive. I'm a violator of the stop sign on Myrtle Beach and have been until recently. I would like to say, though, you need to really look at the whole situation because cars were parking. There was problems with the truck trying to get around it, and I don't think the process has been really totally thought through. Just my comment from a driver that goes out gate 6 a lot. I think that one thing that You probably heard me talk before, and I think it was evident in listening today. I really think you need to have and sit back for a task force for a communication plan with the residents and the change of way we need to do stuff. You know, the newsletters going to the printer and combining them. I just think you need to have a better solution and a little bit more electronic and trying to, the discussion started here, but it got shut down some, and then you're gonna make a policy of the one page. I think you really need to focus a little bit better on it with the changing group of people coming in. I prefer to have my district delegate be able to send me something electronically. You know, when there's an event coming on, you know, that I get a notice, hey, reminder to sign up. And there's some of us in the community I'm paying for, and I am proud to say that I did all the flyers for the golf outing. And the district delegate needs some additional ones. I'm paying out of my pocket because I see it as a nice event for the community. So some of us are willing to do that. But why stop some of the communication down in detail? So I really think as a group that you need to sit back and strategically look how you communicate some of it. Sometimes there's software you can send out text messages that could be used. So again, I've been at this. I had my notes from my original setting here. I talked about it before. And I think it needs to be really reviewed and come at a stronger setting of doing it the right way. So with that, thank you.
Thank you. Michelle?
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michelle Walter, and as the Community Awareness Coordinator, I want our community to be aware of our latest challenge facing Sun Lakes. You have probably received in the mail from the City of Banning the proposed adoption of water and wastewater service increases. For the past 5 years, the City of Banning had a 3% only annual increase. The new proposed rate increase for water will be approximately 10%. However, for sewer, starting January 1st, the increase would be 40%. In July, just 6 months later, the increase will be 76%, and within 1 year, it will more than double. So your increase will go from $21.42 to $47.12. The Proposition 218 protest form must be completed and returned to the City of Banning prior to November 8th. If you do not complete this protest form, you are considered by the city to be in favor of the rate increase. The assessor's parcel number must be put on the protest form. You can locate your parcel number on your valuation notice, tax bill, deed, or by the Riverside County Tax Assessor's website. The parcel number is your PIN number, or parcel identification number. So what I'm asking is that, yes, apparently we do need an increase, but I think our sewer increase is really, really high, and I think everybody needs to look at this. There is, if you did not receive this, you will be receiving it. If you threw it away not realizing what this was, it says right on here, Proposition 218 protest form. That does not mean that you have to go down there and protest. All it means is that you have to fill this out with the correct information. The administration is willing to, if you want to just drop your form off there, I will personally pick them up and I will take them down to City Hall. So please read this over. It's your money, it's your sewer, it's your water, and the increase is really, it's kind of out of this world. You do not have to put a check mark on both of them. It says, I protest the rate adjustments for water service. If you think the 10% is fair, don't mark that. I protest the rate adjustments for wastewater service. You're going to be doubling your wastewater service. So please look at this, and if you don't have any of these forms, or if you threw it away, contact me and I will get you a form. And again, if you drop your forms off at admin at the front desk, I will pick them up on a weekly basis and take them down there before November 8th so we can get counted. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for your public service. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Could we have one of those forms to put in our newsletter? In case people...
Absolutely. I can get you one, Renell.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I need one.
And you know, I know everybody's been discussing this thing about what to put in your newsletter and what not. And I know that everybody puts my community awareness in, but because that's a flyer that everybody needs to be aware of and know what's going on all the time. So it's up to you whether or not you want to put that in. But again, it's letting everybody know what wonderful programs we're having for community awareness. I'll get you that form. The flyer is, Hernan puts it on every single month, and I also have flyers out here.
Okay.
Yeah, Michelle, doesn't your flyer get automatically printed?
Yes.
The
So we
flyer,
don't
the
need-
awareness.
Right.
It's a community awareness one, yes.
Okay, the awareness is approved of by the board of directors and is added to your newsletter every month. So
Correct.
I sent it out to you as a matter of convenience for you. That's the only reason. So don't send it to the printer with your newsletter, okay? Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for, are there any other questions of Michelle? Go ahead, Renee.
Is there a website I can get that form off of?
Yes, you can go right to the city, and you can, and it's right on there. Look under City of Banning, and it'll show you, there's tons of things on there right now.
Okay.
So, yes, you can go on there and get it. And you know what, again, you may want to remind your residents, in your district, to please fill this out, because I know even a couple of people that I've known have already thrown it away. They didn't know what it was, and they already threw it away. You 3 years away? Okay, so I'll make sure that I get you a copy of
What
this.
about if they're a renter or a tenant?
If they're a renter or a tenant, there is a place on this form that if they get a bill, if they pay for the bill and not the homeowner, they can fill this form out also. So if you are a renter, you have the opportunity to have your voice heard also.
Okay, any other questions? One more. One more, did you have? No?
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle.
Hi, my name is Joan Burke, and I'm in District 2, and I'm here with the dog owners group to talk to you about getting dog parks here in Sun Lakes. We're doing a petition drive that we will then present to our board to show that they are needed and wanted here in Sun Lakes. Sun Lakes is such a great community, and I think that it's very important that we keep moving forward. And having dog parks where we can meet, where we can take them to do their business or to play or to socialize is a great opportunity not only for the dogs but for the owners as well. We have come up with a advantages and answering questions form, which I also sent to Joe. And I know that we've talked about only one page, and I've already used 2. But I would like to give this to you if you would like to share this with your delegate or with your communities so that they can be aware that we are collecting signatures on petitions. We are setting at tables in the clubhouses, we're out walking, we're out in our golf carts, and we are trying to reach our community. Thank you. Any questions?
Randy?
Joe, before anybody else asks a question, I just want to, Joan and I have spoken a few times. The board is currently in the process of setting up an ad hoc committee to review this. We're going to get advocates for it, and we're going to get dissenters for it on this committee, and we're going to get that going ASAP, and so that they can present something to either the delegate assembly or the board of directors.
Very good, thanks for letting us know, because we're on Channel 97 now live, so that's really important that we go out into the community. Thank you.
Okay.
Any
you
other
very much.
questions? Not at all. Thank you.
So I just wanted just quickly on to Michelle's report, and I have it up there, delegates on, so you just go to the website, there's gonna be a little, it's a little hard to find, maybe it's buried somewhere. But I just went up to this little eyeglass search, water rate protest. It will come up, you'll hit Prop 218, notice English, you'll click on it. This is all for the people at home as well. It is a Word document, right there is the form. And as Michelle talked about, I think that it goes through all the information. And then there's the protest form. This is what Michelle was talking about, that you need to either turn it into admin, and then Michelle will come pick it up as she's, but this is where you go to on the city's website for that.
Kevin Walton, 2365 Birdie Drive resident. It seems that since the COVID things has been relaxed, what I've noticed, at least where I'm at, is that the speeds are increasing, not necessarily by residents, but what I'm seeing is that the vendors coming in, landscapers, kind of an excessive speed. Where I happen to live is a little intersection there, and I just witness just so often near misses because people are just really excessive speeds right in there. You know, I was going to say, you know, I would like to consider, you know, somebody looking at a stop sign, but I tend to blow the other ones myself. So, you know, that's kind of the pot calling the color black, you know. But it does seem something, and I don't know if there's a way to do it. We don't have law enforcement in the community, don't really have a way to pull somebody over or something, but I don't know if there's some kind of a way to, when somebody comes on the facility, that they're given something or told that there are a set of rules, and that, you know, I don't know if there's a consequence for their bad behavior, but it seems like it's just getting worse. And like I said, where I'm at, it's you know, we've had a couple near misses just in the last couple days. So thank you.
Kevin, if you see that, and this is delegates as well, if you can communicate to call the call center there at Gate 1 and let them know what vehicle it was, because we've already been on UPS. Mike Romero has called UPS. UPS and FedEx have been the ones that have received the most complaints. So if you can identify location, time, call the gate, and it will be, an incident report will be created, and then we follow up with that vendor. Also, the board is looking, as they did in the past, you know, 5 years ago, we talked about a vendor program. And I think right now the board, I know the board is contemplating resurrecting that and doing a vendor program, so that could be an opportunity to really, there's consequences for those actions and enforce that. And so that's something we are working on.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's all right. This is not a discussion, George. Unless you have a question.
Yeah.
You have a
about that very
question?
thing.
All right, ask it of the speaker then.
Yeah, it's about what he's speaking about.
Okay.
Yes, I noticed not too long after I moved in, we had a sign that showed the speed. I'm wondering if we can, I don't see that around anymore, and I think a lot of times people just don't realize how fast they're actually going. So maybe if we could have that on the streets in the areas where they're having problems, so the vendors could see how fast they're going, might help the process.
You can request that of the safety committee. I think they control that, the speed indicator. Okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of you for attending today and our meeting, and this meeting is adjourned.